What is up, my friends? King Gooch 13 here. I wanted to kind of spotlight a couple of good horror books that I've been reading, and at least one of them I don't think very many people read them, and I think more people should because they're really freaking good. First one I want to talk about is Colder, the Bad Seed. This is issue 3. There's a sticker over the guy's face, but pretty cool looking cover. This is the follow-up to, there was another series just called Colder. I was a huge fan of that. It's written by Paul Tobin, and the art is by Juan Ferreira. Hopefully I'm saying that right. But Juan Ferreira's, his art is just fabulous. It's so good. It just jumps off the page. It's super creepy sometimes, but it's, and it can be super realistic. And I'm in love with that guy's art. It's so freaking good. Colder, the first series, it's about a guy named Declan Thomas. He was like a mental patient, like in an asylum or something similar to that. He was in a comatose state because his body temperature had dropped incredibly low. So he was in a comatose state. He didn't age, so he's been around for a long, long time. He's much older than he appears to be. There was a fire in the asylum. His nurse, Reese, took him home to live with her, which is kind of weird, but they kind of connected. And so it's kind of the story of those two. And then it also has what I consider the greatest comic book villain of all time. His name is Nimble Jack. The character design is just out of this world. Just one of the coolest looking characters I've ever seen. And he's just so evil, and it's kind of like the Joker, only supernatural too. So good. So that's the other thing about Declan is he can go up to a crazy person, say there's a homeless person on the street, just spewing craziness. He goes up to them, he can take their insanity from them and cure them, but that's what drops his body temperature. So it's a really cool concept. Colder, the first series, was one of my favorite books. There's a trade out for that. It's from Dark Horse, so definitely check that out. Yeah, but the follow-up to that is Colder, the Bad Seed. And this involves a different villain who's also insane. His name is Swivel. He is also supernatural. They have this thing called Crazy World, or I think they call it Crazy World. But it's another dimension that where crazy people go in their minds. So it's this whole other world that's super dark, super weird, and it's where all the insanity is. And Swivel's another guy from there. He's obsessed with fingers, which is weird. There's a lot of shots of him, a lot of panels with him cutting off people's fingers, like so. He appears to be made out of fingers sometimes. He can morph, and then his entire body turns into fingers. It's super creepy, super weird, super enjoyable though. So we're up to issue 3 on Colder, the Bad Seed, and I'm liking it just as much as I like the first one. It's still Reese and it's still Declan, and they're trying to combat this Swivel guy. I'm really loving it, so jump into that, okay? I don't see very many people talking about these two books, which is kind of disappointing to me because I wish I had more people to talk to about them. They're they're fantastic. The other one I wanted to talk about is Nailbiter. I feel like more people are reading Nailbiter than the colder books, but it's one of my favorite series going right now. There's so much good horror stuff out there right now. It's pretty crazy. The guy that writes Nailbiter, this is issue 10. I just grabbed the most recent issue of both of these. It's from Image. This is issue 10. We're 10 in. So there's already a trade for that out too. Usually the Image trades, the first trade is $10. So it's well worth it. Nailbiter is a really interesting concept too. There's a town called Buckaroo, Oregon, and there's been 16 of the world's worst serial killers were all born in this town. So there's a guy, an NSA agent named Nicholas Finch, and he goes there because his friend had gone to investigate the town and disappeared. So Nicholas Finch goes to try to figure out what happened to his friend. He meets up with the local sheriff, and it's kind of about their adventures in the town. There's one of the serial killers is named Edward Nailbiter Warren, hence the title Nailbiter. When he kills people, he bites off their nails, which is pretty creepy. But you know, it's a really, I don't like the art as much as I liked the art for Colder that I was talking about, but it's the art's by Mike Henderson, and it's still really good. There's just some fun stuff in this book. When there's that whole community of people that are obsessed with serial killers, and people flock to their hometowns and they want to learn as much as they can about them. There's usually a tour for the big ones, that kind of stuff. Well, if you can only imagine if 16 serial killers were from the same town, it would be a tourist destination for sure. So on the main street of this town, there's a murder store, it's called. And it's like a little gift shop with all these macabre knickknacks and whatnot, little souvenirs. So I thought that was a pretty fun thing. That the guy called the Nailbiter, he was let off at his trial, so he's able to live free in this town. But the cops, of course, keep close tabs on him. This book has also had a guest starring role from Brian Michael Bendis, which was, I don't know where that came from, but it was hilarious. He came into the town planning to write a book about it, and ended up getting super spooked and running away. And I just thought it was really cool that they put him in there, and it was really, really fun. So yeah, Nailbiter, check it out. Like I said, it's only 10 issues in. Super easy to catch up. They read fast. They're smart. They're funny. They're creepy. There's a lot of tension, wondering what's going to come next. Yeah, so check it out. Let me know what horror books you guys are reading. If there's some you think I should be reading that other people don't talk about very much. Nailbiter's written by Joshua Williamson. I think he's also the guy that does Ghosted. That's another great horror-ish, supernatural-ish book. So he's got it going on when it comes to that stuff. So check that one out too. Let me know if you guys are reading this stuff, especially Colder. I'd love to have people to talk to about it. Yeah. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Comment. I love getting comments. And follow me on Twitter, FOUGHT13, FOUGHT13. I'll catch you on the flip.